Here's what I've been thinking about. Dan Koe. Probably seen him on YouTube or Instagram. He's this guy right here. He shares his thoughts and philosophy on business and writing and productivity and lifestyle. And I think it's pretty great. I really appreciate his work and you should check him out. Dan Koe Talks on YouTube. It's good stuff. He shared a video or it came up in my algorithm where he says that there's these 4 types of people and how to take back control. And I thought it was interesting and I wanted to comment on it because I want to add something to it that maybe someone might take from the video and be a little bit misled. Not because of Dan, but because of you and what you're thinking or what I'm thinking. You're inspired by this and you go, I want to do that. So anyway, he says there's 4 types of people when pursuing something in life. So there's the dabbler. That's someone who likes to start new business ideas, pursue new things, new hobbies, new passions, and then they just peter off. And you're dabbling in things and you're dabbling in things and you just, you go a little bit and then you're done. You go a little bit and you're done. It's the person who has great business ideas and might start it up and might vibe code it or might use AI to come up with an idea and chat GPT it, but then kind of move on because there's just not much substance there to pursue anything further. And then second to that, he says the next person is the obsessive. It's someone who obsesses and goes really hard and they make a lot of progress initially, but they think that that progress is always going to stay that way. And then when they flatline and plateau, they get discouraged and frustrated, and then they don't get that same upward trend like they did at the first sprint. And then they give up and burn out. And that's common, I think, with like creators and YouTubers and people who are pursuing their own solo business. They make progress right away, they flatline and they think it's done, so they quit. And then he says the third type of person is the hacker. The hacker tries to skip the line. So the hacker, it looks like this on his chart. It's like they want to be able to skip ahead and find a hack or a way around a shortcut. These are the get rich quick. There's got to be an easier way. And I think in some senses you can hack your way around certain things. AI, chat GPT, certain web design tools, productivity tools, they are kind of hacks that kind of get you around doing something slow. But in the bigger scheme of things, there's no hack and there's no shortcut. Just steady progressive work is what's going to get you there. Which brings me to his final type of person he says is the master. The master is somebody who realizes, in his words, not mine, that all of life exists on a plateau, or most of it. And there's no just big up and to the right always. That there's a plateau and a little peak and a plateau and a little peak. So the longer you can hold out and be okay in the suffering of the plateau, let's put it in my words, the better off you'll be. You'll be more content with what you're doing. You'll know that the joy and the progress is in the process. Little Canadian pronunciation there. I know Americans like saying progress and process. If you can live on the plateau and be joyful in the suffering of that flat line, the longer you'll hold out. Now, here's the catch though. You might think that that means if I have a great business idea in my mind and I pursue that, or I want to be famous, or I want to make $1 million or $10 million, or I want to pursue this startup idea or this blog idea or this YouTube channel idea, and you just say like, well, if I hold out and I master it and I just stay steady for life, then that means it's going to work out, just like Dan said, just like Brad said. But no, the first thing I think you need to do is think about, is this actually a good idea worth mastering and pursuing in like a longer term? You have to think about other things. Everything has a cost. So I have a family, I have a wife and kids. I need to keep that in mind. I don't want to pursue something that's going to cost them greatly. My well-being, my mental health, my physical health, or their well-being. They're like my providing for them. I'm like, hey guys, I'm just really passionate. I'm going to follow this. I'm going to master it for life. And we're going to live on the plateau. But we're not going to have any money and we're not going to have food on the table and everything's going to be about me and my selfish pursuit of it. No, as a man, as a husband, as a father, as someone who provides for other people, I got to consider, is that sacrifice worth it or no? Or should I self-sacrifice maybe something I want to do for the betterment of my family? Now, I do my business because it provides for them. So I'm going to take certain risks, but I'm not going to take a risk and really hold out on that risk if I know that there's a high chance that it's going to fail. Do you get what I'm saying? So maybe the moral here is try to be the master, stick it out, but have something worth sticking it out for. Otherwise, cut it and find something different and master that. I don't know, still figuring it out, but that's what I got.